Gauteng High Court in Pretoria granted the Asset Forfeiture Unit a preservation order for more than 3.2 million rands in relation to funds paid fraudulently or mistakenly into the bank account belonging to Tshepang Pohole. Police reacted quickly upon being notified of this discrepancy. They referred the matter to the Financial Intelligence Center for action, whereupon the accounts were frozen as early as June 4. The National Prosecuting Authority's Sipho Ngwema joins us now for more details on this matter. Sipho, good afternoon to you and thank you so much for your time.
Good afternoon and thanks for having us on the program.
Well, take us back a bit. This alleged fraud or mistake that happened in this payment, how was it discovered and how was it brought to the attention of the authorities?
Indeed, as you correctly mentioned, the money was supposed to have been deposited in the account of CSG Resourcing. This is a company that has got a number of clients which then it was supposed to pay on behalf of the Unemployment Insurance Fund. So basically, then the money was deposited to the account of Tshepang Pohole. The police are investigating whether this was a mistake or this was done fraudulently. It was brought to our attention by CSG themselves, and there is an investigation going on by the police into the matter. Then the Financial Intelligence Center was informed urgently. They took action in order to make sure that the accounts were frozen before the Asset Forfeiture Unit went into court to freeze the assets. This is a joint work by the Fusion Center, which is all the law enforcement agencies looking at fraudulent activities around COVID-19.
And as things stand right now, I mean, I understand that money was sent to an account and then more money was sent to other accounts as well, all part of this money that was sent out for UIF COVID-19 relief. As things stand right now, is there a possibility that this money could be recovered?
As I said, 3.2 million has been frozen right now. However, the police are still investigating the possibility of fraud, theft, even money laundering, given the fact that, as you have mentioned, that this money has been distributed into a number of other accounts. So that investigation is going, and we hope that through the investigation, more money will be uncovered. However, we know that some of it has already been spent, but through asset forfeiture provision, we should be able to see whether or not we can attach more assets.
And seeing that money, some of the money has been spent, and I understand investigations are underway, have there been any arrests?
There's not been any arrest right now. As I said, the South African Police Service is investigating. We are working all together as part of the Fusion Center to make sure that we curb any corruption that has to do with COVID-19.
Sure. And Sipho, talk us through maybe the preservation order. What does it really mean for this case? Because, as I said earlier on, the accounts were frozen at the beginning of this month, I think the 4th of June, and that was about for 10 days. So with this order, what does it now mean for this case?
The preservation order is the order that was received by the Asset Forfeiture Unit of the NPA yesterday. However, there was an intervention done by the Financial Intelligence Center, which also froze the accounts so that in that 10 days, nothing could happen to them. So from yesterday, which was the end of that 10 days, the asset forfeiture provision then freezes the accounts on behalf of the state. And once that process is concluded, that can be then forfeited permanently to the state at the end of the case.
And Sipho, before we let you go, are you able to tell us about these individuals that have been, accused in this case, including Tshepang Pohole? I mean, there's other individuals whose accounts were sent money to. Do they hold senior positions in this company?
The people who received the money, if we start with Tshepang doesn't even work for CSG. He works for one of the clients of CSG. And those other individuals, the investigation is still continuing as to who are those individuals. So we don't have the status of those individuals yet, but with time we should be able, because we have the identity of all of them, we should be able to have a clear profile on who each person is.
And are authorities perhaps investigating similar cases when it comes to alleged fraud or money being mistakenly sent to the wrong person when it comes to the COVID-19 relief?
Part of the Fusion Centre's responsibility is to make sure that they have oversight over the use of funds of COVID-19, to make sure that there is no corruption or fraud in that regard. So any of the money that are dispensed with regard to COVID-19, the Fusion Center, which is the amalgamation of all the law enforcement agencies, is to make sure that there is no corruption, or any corruption that takes place within with regards to COVID-19 is nipped in the bud as soon as possible. So Fusion Center is looking at making sure that there is no corruption associated with the funds of COVID-19.
All right. So as things stand right now, this is the only case that authorities are investigating?
This is the only case that we can make public right now to say we are investigating, given the fact that we found an order. But of course, the Fusion Center has a bedside view in terms of what is happening generally with regards to COVID-19 funds.